Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the new 6 Plus that arrive on Global alongside V2 6 Plus Mihawk. That is V2 6 Plus Sanji. Now, it was kind of fitting that both these characters came out at the same time in terms of their 6 Pluses. They're both very, very similar. They're both chain boosting captains. They by 4 times for respective classes. They both need 6 characters on their crew. So I thought it was actually a pretty nice touch by Bandai to actually release them. But someone's got to tell Sanji to chill with this artwork though, because I don't know what him and Pudding are up to, but someone got to tell this man to chill. But let's have a look at what this man does. So as a captain, you do need 6 fighter characters on the crew, but he also reduces the special charge by 1 turn at the start of the quest, which is actually pretty nice. He boosts the chain multiplier by 4 times, and then boosts fighter characters' attack by 1.75, HP by 1.2 times, and then boost the chance of landing on their own type slot when the HP is low. So this is actually pretty decent captain ability. That's just the downside, very similar to Mihawk, is the 6 fighter characters. I don't really like that you have to bring 6 fighter characters, but I do understand why they do something like this. I'm not a huge fan of it, but honestly, fighters are actually pretty decent, and building a Psy fighter team was a lot easier than building a Dex slasher team, but nevertheless, both characters actually did the Navy run pretty well, and in today's video, I do have the Navy run and an X-Drake Arena run for you guys, very similar to the V2 Mihawk showcase. I sort of tried to parallel them, but pretty decent captain ability. Just downside is he does get cucked by chain lockers and chain growth manipulation, but unlike Mihawk, this guy actually has a way to get around that. His special ability does 250 times his attack and side damage to one enemy, which is actually pretty good, which means you can use supports that do damage, namely something like Opera for despair removal and whatnot. He's going to boost fighter character's attack by 2.25 for 2 turns, so this is where I think it's a little bit better than Mihawk's, where Mihawk is an orb booster, where Sanji's an attack booster. Attack boost, in my opinion, is infinitely better. And if the captain is a fighter class, he reduces the decreased chain multiplier growth rate and or the lock chain multiplier by 10 turns. So if you have 2 of these guys, you can remove 20 turns of chain lock, which is his biggest weakness. So I do like that they added that to his kit, and they made it very easy just with captain as a fighter class. It's not like he has to be captain. So I do like that a lot. I will say, though, I do like his art way more than the original V2 Sanji. His sailor abilities makes fighter characters' side slots have matching slot effects, and he boosts the normal attacks dealt to in characters by 1.2 times. His support is 18% of his base attack to Luffy, Nami, Reiju, Pudding, and Chiffon, very similar to Mihawk. You just have a much bigger array. His limit break is int damage reduction, slot bind by 10 turns, and recovery bind by 10 turns. So a fairly decent unit. In terms of his 6 Plus, it's not exactly game breaking or anything like that, but it is a lot better than his original. It's just a direct buff. It's not like a side grade like some other 6 Pluses. So if you do have V2 Sanji, I would highly recommend 6 Plusing him. And with that said, let's dive into the runs. As I mentioned, we do have a Garbs Challenge Navy run and Arena X-Drake. So let's dive in. Alright, so the first clip of the video, we are taking on the Garbs Challenge Navy. Very similar to like what we did with V2 6 Plus Mihawk. So that was the team. Those were the supports. Go back and pause it if you guys want to try this team out. It actually did very, very well, but we do have some notable supports. Now, limited rare recruit Paraspero on Katakuri is definitely not required. It definitely helps, but you can easily just use the Carrot special to get around that. So you don't really need it, but we are running Katakuri, Stampede Luffy, V3 Rayleigh, and the Whole Cake Island Carrot, as well as the Zanisha ship, because we are running a full powerhouse Cerebral team, besides Carrot, but we can just start the chain with her and everything's fine. With the supports, we do have the Otama on our Stampede Luffy, we do have V1 Shanks on our Rayleigh, I think we have Nami, the Valentine's Nami on our Sanji, we have limited rare recruit Paraspero on Katakuri, and then we actually have Pedro on our Carrot. So like I said, we are running a lot of supports, and they actually help us get through this very, very easily. On stage 3, we come up against Kobe Helmeppo. They put up 2 turns of Threshold. We can easily remove that with the Carrot special, but with limited rare recruit Paraspero, we can easily remove it just by utilizing a support. We are going to use the Stampede Luffy special here, we can give ourselves recovery orbs that way with the Otama support. And because we are running the Zunisha, those orbs are actually matching to pretty much our whole team besides Carrot. Now, I actually stuffed that up and I actually attacked with Luffy. I was meant to attack with Carrot and then hit with Luffy last to just absolutely destroy Kobe. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter too much if you do it the way I did it, as you can easily get enough damage to take out Kobe on the second turn, as the Stampede Luffy special lasts two turns. On the next stage against Smoker, Tashigi, and Hina, they're going to bind our bottom row for 3 turns and to give our captains 2 turns of despair respective to your sockets. And we're going to be able to remove that with the Pedro support. So Pedro, the Whole Cake Island Pedro, can actually come in and remove the despair, which is really, really nice. And then we can use our Sanji special with the Valentine's Nami support to actually remove 2 turns of the bind. Removing 2 turns of the bind is really, really nice, as in that way we can actually get our characters back on the next turn. Now, ideally, you want to make sure that you take out Tashigi on the first turn, otherwise she gives you attack down, and then Hina on the second turn, and then Smoker on the third. They all do some weird shenanigans if you don't take them out, but on the first turn, we aren't going to be able to do that much damage, even with the attack boost of Sanji, because we only have 4 units. But with Sanji special, he actually gives us 2 turns of a 2.25 times attack boost to our fighters. Sanji actually got quite a decent buff to his special, and as you can see on that second turn, we can easily take out both of the units. On the next turn, we come up against Kizaru. Kizaru has a perfect barrier, and he makes it harder to hit perfects. But because we are using the Zunisha, we can actually counteract that, which works really, really well. And then we can actually just use our Sanji special, or our other Sanji special. And because we have limited rare recruit Perispero, we can actually use the Carrot special here as well. But as mentioned, the limited rare recruit Perispero special is not required. I've actually done it without it. And you can easily use Carrot. You don't really need Carrot here, but it also just depends on like how your orbs look as well. Getting the orb boost with Carrot helps out quite a bit, as you can do a lot of extra damage, as you do need to break through that perfect barrier to start doing damage to Kizaru. But as you can see, once we start hitting with that sort of 4th unit, we start doing quite a significant amount of damage, and if you guys have a good orb roll there, you should be fine. On the next turn against Iso, Iso is going to lock onto him, and he is only going to let us attack with 4 units. So this is where we're going to use our Rayleigh special. Rayleigh's going to give us a 2 times attack boost, 2 times orb boost, and then with the support of V1 Shanks, we can actually get a full board of Psy orbs. This just guarantees us enough damage to actually take Iso out. You do want to attack with the 4 characters that have the highest attack. That way, you can easily take him out because we do have color affinity. Ideally, this particular stage is actually a little bit tricky for most teams, but because we do have color affinity, we can actually just destroy Iso, and it works out really, really well. With Sanji chain sort of boosting mechanic in his captain ability, that mechanic actually just cucks Sanji ridiculously hard. Very, very similar to how sort of chain lock and chain coefficient reduction stereotypically would for these types of captains. But we're going to stall here to the 89 turn mark. We'll see you guys in a sec. So now that we're at the 89 turn mark, the last Chicky Baby is going to run away, and we can move on to the final stage against Akainu. Now, Akainu is going to turn into the opposite color to our captain, but because we are running Psy, he's just going to stay as an int character, which helps out with color affinity. He gives us 5 turns of burn, and he can only let us use 2 specials. But because we are running Stampede Luffy, we are in pretty good stead, as Stampede Luffy special just allows him to do so much damage. We are going to use one of our Sanji specials because we get 2 turns of a 2.25 attack boost, which is really, really good for this particular stage, as Akainu actually has a revive mechanic. Then we can use our Stampede Luffy special. Stampede Luffy is going to give himself a 2 times orb boost and a base stat boost, which is really, really nice. You could probably also use the Carrot special here, but because this is all about back-ended damage, I really wanted to showcase Stampede Luffy here as well and show how much damage this man can actually do just with his special and the help of obviously the Sanji special. On the revive, we are going to use our other Sanji special because we do get our buffs wiped, so I take back what I said about the 2 turns being good, but it's still better than nothing. We can use the Carrot special to remove the threshold, or you can use the Katakuri special instead of the Sanji special, as we do take the burn damage, and then we can get tap timing. So either of those will work. But that was against the Garb Challenge Navy. Let's move on to X-Drake now. Alright, so here we are over against X-Drake, and we are testing the hybrid capabilities of the new 6+ Sanji, utilizing a friend V2 Snake Man. So this is the team, these are the supports. Let's dive in. Alright, so we're over here on stage 3, and we come up against Basil Hawkins. Now against Basil Hawkins, he's going to give us a full board of unfavorable slots, or T&D orbs. On the second turn, he's going to put up a barrier. But with this particular team, we're basically just going to cop it, and we're just going to try and do as much damage to Hawkins as we possibly can. in the first turn just by hitting with our units last. Now, as mentioned in the double Sanji team, obviously this team is built up around back-ended damage. All chain multiplying captains are. So you really want to hit with your strength units last, but on the second turn when he puts up that barrier, you're not going to be able to do much, as you just can't break through the barriers. Physically, we cannot get a Dex Orb. On the third turn, however, once things go back to normal, we can try and output as much damage as possible, and with a couple of matching orbs, you usually can actually take Hawkins out here. You have to get pretty unlucky to not be able to take him out on this particular stage, as literally just one orb on one of your strength units in the back end of damage is enough to take him out. On the next turn, we come up against Page 1. Now, against Page 1, he gives us a full board of block orbs, and he has 4 turns of damage reduction and defense up. He also makes all colors unfavorable, so that's where things get a little bit tricky for this particular arena. But with the certain units, it's really not that big of a deal. But on this particular team, we are utilizing the special of Robin to remove the defensive effects. We have the special of Luffy for an orb boost. He's super typing for an attack boost. And then we can use the limited rare recruit Bonnie special to give ourselves a full board of recovery orbs, and then lock those orbs with the Magello special. The Magello is just an absolutely phenomenal ship for doing shenanigans like this, and it actually works really, really well for this particular arena. On the final stage against X-Drake, he is going to change to a Dex unit, and he is going to give us 4 turns of Special Blind, Paralysis, Despair, and Attack Down. So we have some pretty notable supports here. We have Bardo on Robin to remove some Paralysis. We have Rayleigh to remove some Despair and Paralysis. We then have Kid for Color Affinity. And then we can remove the Attack Down and the Special Bind with Boa. And on our Sanji, we have Valentine's Nami. Now, Valentine's Nami can remove the rest of the Despair. And then we have an Attack Boost with Sanji, an Orb Boost with V1 Snake Man, as well as a Chain Buff mechanic. Chain Buff mechanics with these types of units are really, really strong. And on the first turn, we're just going to try and do as much damage as we possibly can. Hit with our strength units last. But ideally, you don't want X-Drake to take a knee. Now, after turn 1, X-Drake's going to attack, and then he's going to blow away 2 random units. And ideally, you just want that to be Robin and another strength unit. Ideally, you don't want it to be Luffy, as Luffy usually has the highest attack stat. But this was a pretty good showing to show you guys that you can actually still kill him if you have a very good friend, V2 Snake Man. And that way you can just easily take him out. So there you guys go. That was the V2 6+ Sanji showcase. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Loads!